gotten a chance to look at any of the Blackbean games they played. I did check out some of their scrimmages earlier on during the weekend. They were playing fairly standard compositions. We saw a lot of Aurelia. We saw a lot of Maokai and stuff. We saw some support Ashe going on, which I really hope they bust out against Azubu Blaze.
Well, that would be really cool. I mean, they need to pull out all the stops here. They have a couple of go-to champions, I feel like, that they're just really comfortable with. Their AD carry, I've only seen him play Graves. So, you know, it gives them that AoE potentially. He's an all-around strong carry. They've played a lot of Vladimir as well. Lulu is, you know, tends to be their most popular support, also Sona. So we'll see where they go from there. But one interesting thing about Blackbean, in the TPA versus Blackbean match yesterday in the group stages, Blackbean, they ran promote and they ran teleport on their mid. And the entire game, they were actually trying to 4-man push against TPA, which was a really aggressive strategy. They were, you know, taking the offensive in that game, which is what you need to do to take down one of these top teams. Unfortunately for them, TPA is one of the best teams in the world at responding to that kind of pressure, because Toys would move right out of that mid lane. He was playing Anivia, able to completely shut it down by himself. And that's kind of a dangerous thing. But if they pull it out again, who knows what can happen this time.
Well, that's another thing you have to keep in mind, too. A lot of the ways to beat these top teams.
God, Diana.
Diana was left on the table. That's going to be a really difficult thing to deal with. But everyone's going to deal with it. It's going to be Azubu Blaze. To beat these teams that are super, super aggressive, you normally have to aggress them. I mean, what you're talking about with TPA, when they ran the promote strategy, they had the Anivia, they had the stall tactics, and they knew how to be able to beat it because, well, they've had to compete against it for forever, especially with the Season 2 finals and everything. Azubu Blaze, they didn't make it to the finals. However, they've been tearing up the Korean scene and, well, just about everybody else in the League of Legends scene by playing these extremely aggressive strategies. So even if they're trying to get out-aggress the Azubu Blaze team, it's going to be really difficult because if anyone knows how to be aggressive, it's the team that does it all the time.
Well, I think the scarier thing is going to be how are they going to deal with Captain Jack, because yesterday we saw Bebe get a pentakill followed by a quadra-kill. It was actually almost a 1v5 underneath the turret, and he just strung them along. He kept on poking at them until they started chasing him, and he was able to kite them very effectively. Well, Captain Jack is one of the best defensive AD carries in the game. He's very good at, you know, playing those short-range AD carries like we've seen Graves in the past. Vayne now tends to be his #1, and then making sure he stays out of that danger zone. And so if he's able to string along Blackbean later on in the game, it might not matter if they have a really strong early game and come off ahead if they don't have a way to shut down Captain Jack. And there is that Vayne pick. That is a really scary matchup.
Well, the thing is, too, we see out of Blackbean, they're picking champions that are really going to dive down on the AD carry. We saw actually just in the previous matchup between Fear and Meat Playground, Fear ran a very similar composition. They had the Jax, they had the Diana, and they had the Ezreal. So Ezreal could basically peel for himself and keep himself safe in the composition. Vayne, however, she's not as long range as Caitlyn at all. She's basically like half the range of Caitlyn. Really, really short. So regardless of the fact, she's going to be in the middle of the fray. So if Blackbean's going to be jumping on her, they can melt her down instantly and then turn on to the rest of the team. So this could be actually a pretty good chance to try to shut down Captain Jack's Vayne.
Yeah, but versus Ezreal, that's actually a somewhat favorable matchup for Vayne. And so Vayne and Lulu, that's going to be a really dangerous lane. If Lulu takes the aggression there, if they don't, you know, match up effectively in that lane, that could really, Lulu, all she needs to do, she needs to force a fight with Ezreal, and then Vayne is going to be able to come in. They get a Glitter Lance, Vayne tumbles in, you know, knocks him away, just gets a quick burst. And Ezreal, you know, he has a little bit of burst of himself, his own, but just not as much damage as that trade with the Vayne and Lulu. So he's going to be very safe later on in the game. And so, you know, he can poke in and out of fights. The Diana in particular, like you said, could potentially go for that Vayne. And that's the scary thing, is all of the games that Azubu Blaze has lost so far this tournament have been against Diana. So leaving open the Diana pick, you know, just recognizing, okay, yeah, we think, you know, we're the greatest team in the world, and, you know, they have a strong argument for it, but losing to World Elite and then losing to Fnatic for letting up some of those picks.
And now I see coming out of Blackbean, I really like the fact that they've taken the Malphite away. With the initiation they had the Olaf, they had the Lulu, and that of course is going to have the knockup from her Wild Growth. The Unstoppable Force from Malphite would have been absolutely devastating for the composition they were trying to run. So now they've taken that Malphite away. They've also picked up Sona. However, on the side of Azubu Blaze, they've picked up Vladimir, which you said Blackbean also likes to run in the mid lane. One of the cool things about Azubu Blaze is both their mid and top laners are extremely good Vladimir players. When they picked up Flame and unfortunately got rid of Reaper, he used to be a very strong top lane Vladimir. Well, so is Flame. So there's always that little ambiguity going on of where he's going to be. We can see now hovering over Ryze, that's definitely going to be a top lane Vladimir.
Yeah, and that's interesting because we saw earlier Meat Playground versus Dynamic. Sorry, versus Fear. And Meat Playground Pobelter was playing Rise versus Diana. So Diana being left open, just generally a really strong champion. And I was talking with Scar on the backstage, and he was actually really surprised that Pobelter was running that Rise. And even though Rise tends to do well against a lot of melees, because he has, once he gets that tier, he can just trade damage so effectively. You know, he thought that in team fights and whatnot, the harass from Diana and whatnot just made her too strong of a champion. But we'll see. Ambition is playing that matchup, and that could be really scary. If Rise gets off to an early lead against Diana, he could potentially shut her out of that lane. But having the Diana with the Malphite follow-up, with the Sona, they have really nasty AoE, and then, you know, Jax and Ezreal to go throughout the game. So it's a pretty scary comp for Blackbean right now. We'll see if they do anything unusual, if they try any interesting lanes. I know some of the Southeast Asia teams actually like to run their AD carry and support mid, and that's actually a really common thing in that region. So, you know, that would be a potentially devastating matchup for Rise there, so we'll have to see what happens.
You're going to have to check that out. That would actually be very, very devastating. Rise would have no way whatsoever to survive in that lane. He'd get absolutely no farm.
Once he gets some mana, you know, he would be okay, but yeah, it would be a really tough early.
He would never hit like that hyper carry status that they really need him to be. They'd also have a weak Vladimir during the early stages of the game, and a Vayne who's also a hyper carry. So taking a look at this composition, like you're saying, even though Jax isn't his strongest at the beginning of the game, if they're able to force some early to mid-game team fights with that Malphite ultimate, with Diana being as strong as she is in that mid lane, as long as she's not denied the farm, and Ezreal at least keeps on pace with Vayne, if not outclassing her just a little bit towards that mid stage of the game, they could have a very strong timing here where Azubu Blaze just might not be as strong as they think they are.
Well, here we go, guys. We're getting into the game. It's Azubu Blaze versus Blackbean. I know you want to shout for them. This is Blackbean. We don't know a lot about them, but they're from Thailand, and they want to put up a struggle against Blaze, potentially coming in as the #1 team in this tournament.
It's very true, guys. And don't forget, you can also check out IGN.com/IPL. Vote for who you think is going to win this matchup. Those percentages, of course, going to light up very prettily underneath our little desks here and underneath the two players' desks. So I can't wait to actually see those percentages.
Yeah, and you can actually vote as the games continue, and it's actually like a game. The winner of the vote, you can vote again across multiple games, gets an Origin PC, and they're really sexy, I'll tell you what. But
can you vote for casters?
Oh, God, that would be awesome.
Vote for me.
Vote, well, hey, what a second. You're going really greedy here. But it's going to be cool, guys. Make sure to vote. You can change your vote as the game progresses, as you think, you know, one team has a chance, or, you know, vote for who you want to win. Regardless, it's going to be cool. But we are checking out this team, and we'll see what Azubu does. They oftentimes have a really strong level 1. We've seen in the past they can just completely shut down a game in the first 3 minutes, and that is a really scary prospect.
Well, taking a look at their level 1, it is very scary. Even though Vayne Condemn isn't necessarily the most reliable crowd control effect, they have Rune Prison coming out from Rise. They have the Glitter Lance available from Lustboy's Lulu, and that's very scary. Not to mention the Undertow from Olaf's Axes. They catch someone out in the jungle out of position. It's going to be absolutely devastating.
If you see they're going in, Lightning's maybe going to get caught out. There's the Axe. Can he get the snare? The Arcane Shift getting away from there. So Azubu Blaze coming in from the bottom lane, and actually a nice sneaky route from them. We'll see if they continue that aggression and try and bully around Blackbean in the early stages.
They might actually do that because they forced Ezreal into taking Arcane Shift at level 1 now, rather than taking that Mystic Shot, being able to harass back upon champions. So now they're in a defensive posture already on Blackbean's side. You can see Azubu Blaze going to be coming in over by the raids. There is a ward down there for Blackbean, so they know what's going on, but Lustboy probably going to drop that ward himself, and there he does. Wow, I'm like a psychic or something. They're probably going to back off and secure their own side of the jungle.
But you're right, that Arcane Shift level 1 is going to be an issue for them, and potentially gets Vayne off on a good foot, because Vayne really needs to get level 2, level 3 to get her burst, and you know, try and do well there. But we'll see. Blackbean, they have some great early ward coverage, and that is incredibly important against Helios, because Helios is a hell of a jungler. He's incredibly aggressive. You know, having that early ward coverage is going to be really significant.
They are warded over here by the enemy raids as well, so they know Helios is starting at those raids. Going to have to see if he takes up an early red buff, or if he's taking those to give Vayne and Lulu those wolves, and yes, he is going to do that. The AD carry the bottom lane with the support, going to equalize that golem start on the blue side. Meanwhile, over here by the blue on the blue side, blue.
They didn't do the golem start though, and so Captain Jack is actually ahead. They're ahead in experience right now because they went for the wolves, and Ezreal, because he was missing that Mystic Shot, most likely, they weren't able to take those golems. So they're actually behind in the lane right now, and that's going to allow Captain Jack to get the levels he needs.
So Captain Jack coming in the lane, a little bit of HP missing, but like you said, there's no harassment possibility from Mystic Shots from Ezreal, so relatively safe for the time being. Helios getting a little aggressive, counter jungling early on. There's a Reckless Swing and the Undertow going down on the insta instantly getting rid of that Malphite shield. The Malphite might be in a little bit of a predicament here.
Yeah, Helios, he has his smite up, so I'm surprised he didn't just walk in and steal that Blue Wraith, but I think he's trying to force a fight. There he takes it now. He's going to back off, so already doing some damage to Insta. Early on, Malphite just destroys the jungle of, sorry, Olaf destroys the jungle of Malphite. Malphite needs to get some levels. Malphite's pretty good in the 1v1s. He can stall with his attack speed slow and, you know, kind of get out of there with his Q, so he can wait for the rest of his team to engage. But Helios is definitely looking to put on a lot of early pressure.
That Ezreal taking the Arcane Shift level 1 has really set him behind. I didn't think it was going to put him that far behind, but Captain Jack just abusing him, getting him down to below half health already. Helios in the meantime, now that he's forced Malphite out of the jungle, is going to take control of this red buff. Diana coming in from the mid lane, though, has to see what happens here. Diana is going to lay down some damage.
Diana's low mana.
Olaf taking so much damage. First blood winds up going to Ambition in the mid lane. On Rise, they're going to flash after Insta. Helios so low. Is he going to be able to get it, Baron?
Helios lived. I can't believe he got out of there. They didn't have enough. Part of it was Ezreal coming in. He couldn't get that one last auto attack, and Helios barely gets out. An early lead for Azubu, and Ambition in particular is set in that mid lane because he's up 9 CS. All of these minions are going to die to the turret, and Ambition is really going to pull ahead of that Diana, and that is the concern. If Rise gets that early lead against Diana, that could be really scary. But we see also in the bot lane, Captain Jack wearing down both Sona and Ezreal. I think they're going to go in for this.
They're just going in. There's a condemn against the wall. Lightning going to go down. Oh, that was really bad there.
Through the exhaust, and Lustboy helping out as well. There's the Glitter Lance, one more attack. Elliott's going to go down. The tumble in from Captain Jack. 2 kills down in the bottom lane. It's a 3-0 early advantage, and Vladimir up in the top lane. He has the Ignite. He has the pull. Porsche Cup goes down. Flame with the lead there as well. So Azubu Blaze taking control of all the lanes, and we've talked about in the past, Blackbean, they've made some good showings when they can group up as a team, but that's going to wait until like 10 minutes at the very earliest, but you know, probably a little bit later in the game. And if they fall behind this quickly, then they're going to be completely shut out of these lanes.
We talked about how aggressive Azubu Blaze can be, and how often do you see a Vladimir getting a kill at level 4, diving a tower at level 3 like that? You never see anything like that. So Blaze really knowing that they have a bit of an upper hand in this matchup. Potentially it is just the more LAN experience or just the more tournament experience coming in here. But Blackbean already on the back foot all around. Insta going to try to turn this around in mid lane though. Yeah,
Zilra trying to chase down Ambition. He just walks right out of there, so he has enough vision, he has enough range. Helios turning it around though. Insta's in a really terrible situation.
Insta's getting locked down with that Rune Prison, and there's a double buff taken away from Helios. Definitely going to land that second Undertow. Insta not long for this world, and he goes down. Another kill for Ambition.
And that is really scary. They can't keep on hemorrhaging all these kills to Azubu Blaze right now. They have to turn this around, and you're right, going back up to that top lane, Jax versus Vladimir tends to be the skill matchup. Early on, Vladimir tends to win until Jax gets lower cooldowns. Once he gets a couple of levels, once he gets like 5, his cooldowns are low enough where he can kind of chase down.
Bottom
Jax
lane,
gets
though,
some
we
stuff.
saw Elliot just get instantly evaporated from Captain Jack and Lustboy, just getting condemned against their own tower. That's not a safe place.
Yeah, they can't even farm down there. Lightning, he's completely shut out of this lane, and that's what we're going to start to see. Captain Jack's already 15 CS ahead. One more attack. He has the passive. He just backs off at the last second. So Lightning's is oh my god, the Glitter Lance off the shield.
Flame in the meantime might be in a bad spot here. Counter-strike from Jax, not going to land there. And that is just, I thought Lustboy checked really quick to make sure he wasn't running Flash Ignite again to go through that tower like we saw previously. Didn't matter though, he had the Glitter Lance.
Yeah, it was great communication. Lustboy said, no, don't worry, I got this. I got this, don't sweat it, I'll handle it. And so Insta coming in the top lane, Flame's actually pretty low, but he's trying to bait him in because he knows Olaf has his back, and they just back off of him.
Yeah, Flame just taking a dominating control of this top lane. 42 CS compared to the 15 of Jax. That is not a good place for the quote-unquote hyper carry of their top lane, but the CS all around just really in favor of Azubu Blaze. Rise ahead by about 10. Even Olaf in the jungle has a creep score advantage, and definitely in the bottom lane, 43 compared to 16 on game.
And you have to feel for Blackbean because their tournament experience has been Type A Assassins, World Elite. I mean, these kind of teams, and now they're facing Azubu Blaze. So that is a really tough run. Not to mention, I'm sorry, Type A Assassins M5. Not to mention that Azubu Blaze is coming off of that group stage loss, and they have to be coming back with a vengeance through this losers bracket. Like, they are just, we cannot lose anymore. They are looking to punish their opponents.
The thing is, too, they were thirsty now. I mean, they came in the first day of the tournament, perhaps maybe still a little bit of jet lag. Both teams actually doing the same thing. Azubu Blaze, they got into the losers bracket. We're talking about before the champion picks and bans. They never get knocked into the losers bracket, so they definitely have, well, not to sound cheesy, but a fire lit underneath them to really come through that losers bracket and prove why they're here at IPL5.
Well, and most people had them as their #1 team coming in. I know I did. I don't know about yourself.
Well, personally.
Personally, no. Okay. Well, you got it then. They're in the losers bracket, but we'll see what's going on.
On the percentage for Blackbean right now.
Insta, he is moving down the bottom lane, but they do catch him out with a ward, and so that's the tough thing, is that Azubu Blaze, oftentimes we see really aggressive warding. Helios now knows, because Malphite is down there, he has a free blue. Jax is trying to come down and defend this, but Jax is at such a disadvantage top lane, 2 levels behind Vladimir, that if Flame comes down, they should be able to grab that.
In the mid lane, though, Diana's going to come with help from Malphite. Looks like they're going to try to get into Ambition. Bottom lane is in action, too. Actually turning it around as Rise is so fed, but Insta's going to get the kill there. But Rise is going to wind up taking down Diana in the meantime. Lightning's getting completely zoned out by Lulu in vain. Malphite now chasing down onto Olaf. There's action all over the place.
Yeah, that's what they need to happen. They need to get Diana into this game. Her mid game is just so strong. She has such strong base stats and everything, but they're forced off of their blue. And again, it's because of that top lane advantage. The turret goes down even while Jax is defending it. And still in the bottom lane, it's a 2 CS advantage. There's actually Malphite coming in, trying to get that blue. He has to ult away, and so he actually was not able to steal it, but he does get out of there safely. Vladimir down in the bot lane. Captain Jack takes down Ezreal. Eliade's in a really dangerous spot as well. The tumble, Captain Jack picks up the double kill.
I believe they call that mechanics, Baron. That's what happens when Vayne gets double kills like that.
But you look at the levels. Ezreal level 4, Captain Jack level 6. He can't lane against Vayne at this point. Vayne just has too much damage, has too much support from Lulu.
Top lane, we do see Blacks going into Flame here. Actually, Vladimir way behind where the turret used to be, pretending he's Jax here for a second. Grandmasters might as well as a counter-strike going off. Flame drops the Hemo Plague. Is it going to be able to take Jax down? Jax dealing a lot of damage. There's the pool, though. Is Jax going to be able to finish off? Flash forward, does not have that leap strike available. Stops attacking to use the Empower, and Flame is going to wind up getting away from this one, it looks like.
Oh, Diana's coming up as well. Porsche Cub, he's in a dangerous spot. It looks like he still wants this kill. He drops the ward, trying to grab Azubu Flame here, and Diana's going to try and cut him off behind this turret. So maybe Zoer can make something happen, but no, backing off. Doesn't have enough vision of Flame. He's way too deep. They could have expected Azubu to come, but there's the mid turret for Azubu. They're taking it down very quickly. 2 turrets down. They have a 7K gold lead right now, and at this point, I mean, it was already really brutal after the first, like, 2 minutes. It's almost impossible to come back from this kind of a deficit. There's no way you can farm. Azubu Blaze can just completely deny all these lanes. And you see bot lane, 30 CS advantage for Captain Jack.
They're just waiting in the wings in this bush here. That bottom turret also below half health. Is Captain Jack going to actually recall? Is just a little bit of a bait? We'll have to see. Lightning and Iliad not really buying time. Just look at that gold differential. Over 4,000 gold compared to not even 2,000 gold on Ezreal.
And I think they're partially checking to see if they have a ward by baiting out that heal. Oh, no, he does actually recall. So, you know, if Lightning had maybe gone in for a Mystic Shot or something just for some free damage, it would let them know. They did have the pink ward, so they knew it was unnoticed there. But Lightning, he does get a chance to farm, but this massive wave is going to allow Vayne to continue to zone him, because they're going to be able to freeze that lane right at the turret, and that's a really scary proposition.
One of the most important things to note, by taking a look at the mini-map, you can just see how everywhere Azubu Blaze is. Their wards are completely deep in the enemy jungle. Even when they're moving around taking these towers, they're moving through the enemy side of the jungle. Vladimir is completely on the opposite side of the river, pushing in towards that second top inner turret. They just completely own this map. Blackbean has no establishment whatsoever.
But there was the slow, the condemn from Captain Jack, chasing down Lightning. One more attack, the tumble, it does pick it up for him. Another kill for Captain Jack. He's up 4-0. And in the meantime, Malphite actually able to take down Rise once again with Diana, and that is really significant for them. But I don't know that it's going to be anywhere near enough. Diana, you know, maybe she can start making some plays happen, but that is a massive deficit to eat through.
One of the things that's going a little bit even more wrong for Blackbean is all the kills are landing onto their jungler on Malphite. And the one thing is, if you want someone to carry you out of here, that Diana needs to get those kills to get stronger in the mid game so they can abuse a little bit of the time Azubu Blaze has. They need to get stronger on that Jackson top lane, who now is kind of coming into his own and can kind of go toe-to-toe with Vladimir for a little bit.
Well, and you said earlier the aggressive ward coverage from Azubu Blaze, but Helios, he has the oracles, and now they have all 3 outer turrets down. Captain Jack just allowing the minions to take it down to just deny a little bit more farm, and that means they have complete control of this map. I mean, you know, if they didn't have it already, which they did, they have it. Helios grabbing the ward. He's going to be able to grab one for the dragon as well. They'll be able to push in and take that as a team.
Yeah, Azubu Blaze looking to take this dragon relatively easy. They just missed the ward in the corner over there, so someone out there definitely has to do something because of that. But regardless, Captain Jack coming in here, Silver Bolt's taken away. Helios, of course, those undertows and true damage. Smite available. Is Blackbean going to try to contest it? Diana sees it, but no, Helios is going to use the smite and take that one away.
Yeah, and he's getting the ward now. I don't know that he didn't that he actually missed the ward earlier so much as he didn't even care that the ward saw him, but Helios grabbing it there. The crowd gets excited, and he will back off. Lustboy actually going through the jungle now and dropping wards. That could allow them for a really aggressive push on that second turret and just keep on denying that bot lane and allow Vayne to just continue to farm.
Regardless of what they do, it's going to keep them safe. So no matter how aggressive they want to be, it's going to be smart aggression regardless. So even if Vayne pushes all the way into that second inner tower and Malphite's going to come through the jungle to try to land an unstoppable force, they're going to see it the entire time because that entire side of the map is lit up like a Christmas tree right now.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can do, but it really is not looking good. I think they really have to be kind of questioning what changes they'll make coming into the second game. Zilra in a dangerous spot, though. They're kind of wearing him down. Now Captain Jack's joining the fray mid.
Yeah, Insta also coming in, lands the seismic shard, trying to push off Ambition, but Azubu Blaze starting to group up. All 5 members might be pressuring down on this mid tower, and who would have thought Azubu Blaze is trying to take early towers?
Well, at this point, with the gold lead that they have, they can just bully their way in and try and poke them off the turret, and Blackbean doesn't really have the means of fighting them at this point. If they force a fight, they're going to lose an inhibitor.
So Blackbean, they are going to try to at least defend this mid tower. Malphite goes up, runs a ground slam, but Zarrillia already extremely, extremely low from that previous engagement. Went on to Ambition's rise and tried to deal some damage, but he's just tanky right now. Has a Catalyst Protector, has the tier they got is ticking away, and like you said, they might just have to see this tower and just try to establish a little bit of defensive map control.
Well, and I think Azubu, they are going to back off, get that blue for Ambition, which is pretty significant because Diana is clearing those waves, but they could force this. Vladimir forces the ultimate, but they're all out of position, so Azubu, they can't chase them down, but the thing it does, because Vladimir's so strong, they can force them off this turret, and now they have them zoned to try and take it down.
Yeah, Blackbean, Ezreal getting caught with a nice Rune Prison. They're taking a lot of damage. Glitter Lance. Here comes the unstoppable force down. True Shot Barrage also across, but Azubu Blaze is going to try to turn this one around.
Yeah, but they're not diving for it. Porshkub, he does go down, but Azubu Blaze playing very defensively in this situation. They're not forcing this fight. They know that they're slowly wearing them down. They've forced them back. They can take this turret. There's no reason to go for a dive that could potentially go against them, except for Captain Jack is doing just that. He turns away once again. They get the second turret mid. Ambition, he's actually able to pick up the blue, and then they're going to continue pushing, though they have a significant gold in pocket right now. They could actually go back and spend, buy an Infinity Edge onto Vayne in particular, and get a couple of those items.
And this is one of those things we were talking about before. Just smart aggression from Azubu Blaze. They're pushing into that middle tower. They're forcing Blackbean to go and fight them, and they're not going to chase them through that tower, even though they probably could at this point. What they're going to be doing is drawing them out of position, realizing that, hey, someone got caught, much like they did in that fight there, melt them down instantly, and just back away and continue to push the objective that they're going for. There's no reason for them to be super hyper-aggressive because they're that far ahead. The only thing that can really net from that is, yeah, they might get a kill. Captain Jack might tumble into that tower, have the heal, but all of a sudden Malphite ultimate might come down or something, and then he's going to die, and he feeds a killing spree to one of the people on Blackbean. They don't want that to happen, so what they're doing is just biding their time, baiting Blackbean in, and when it does happen, well, they get the kill and they're safe at the same time.
Right, and they know by pushing mid, it's forcing Blackbean to respond to them, and they're not able to farm, and that really, it shuts down any potential for a comeback from Blackbean because they're not getting the opportunities to farm these other lanes. They do right now while Azubu Blaze backs off, but now they're all split, and that's going to allow Azubu Blaze to get a hard strike in one of these lanes if they can potentially grab someone out of position.
Even though they are getting a little bit of farm, look at the CS across the board. 63 on Jax compared to 123 on Vladimir. Even the jungler, 75 on Olaf, 66 Malphite, 110 on Ryze and Vayne against 84 and 74 on Diana and Ezreal respectively. Even Lustboy, 20-2 on the support characters. Everybody on Azubu Blaze is just so much further ahead because of how forward they are in these lanes.
Yeah, and actually, Captain Jack, instead of waiting for that Infinity Edge, he goes with the Black Cleaver, and it allows him to pick up a Vamp Scepter as well. So he has the sustain. He doesn't have to worry about that poke from Diana, but also because there's no itemization into armor so far for Blackbean, because they're so far behind. They can't get those armor items. It's going to make him really strong.
He's also just scaling off of the extra attack speed as well. So the armor shred, the true damage from Silver Bolts, and the attack speed. It looks like he might be going for a Phantom Dancer as well after this. Just going to be shredding through based off the pure penetration and true damage that he's going to be wailing away on them.
Yeah, now Azubu Blaze, they're just slowly pushing into their base. They know that they're tanky enough at this point. Helios, he has a lot of health buying that Giant's Belt. Ryze has so much damage. Ryze, Vlad, and Vayne are some of the strongest late game carries. But there's the initiation. The Diana ult, the Malphite ultimate. Oh my god, Blackbean might be turning this around.
Azubu Blaze just melting left and right, but Vladimir actually still alive in the back flame. Actually going to be flashing forward. He is eventually going to go down to Diana. Picks us up 2 kills up for his trouble though. Now Lustboy in the base of Blackbean. It's a support fight, the most exciting thing in League of Legends.
has the double buff. He's going to get the glitter lance. He has the slow. Can he take him underneath the turrets? Eliade running away. There it is. The kill, the ace for Azubu Blaze. Lust Boy. Everyone was incredibly low. The AoE for Blackbean almost paid off for them, but it just wasn't enough. They were too far behind. Could you imagine if this game was a little bit closer and then they got those ultimates in that fight?
It was just one of those perfect engages for them. Like you said, if they were closer, they would have wiped Blaze off the board, and that would have been a great turnaround. That would have actually completely gotten them back into this game. But because of the farm differential we talked about just previous to that engagement, because they have absolutely no completed items on their side, they just have pieces of items. Even maybe a champion with 1 or 2 completed items would have completely spiraled that in their favor. But unfortunately for Blackbean, just wasn't enough against Blaze.
But as well, you have to recognize that Azubu, part of the only reason that they were caught in such a nasty AoE, you have to imagine, I mean, as the team that they are, they would generally split up, but because they know they have such an impressive gold lead, they're like, whatever, we'll just force a fight. They don't have enough damage to take us down. I think they were probably a little surprised by how much damage they had, but they knew that you know, they could just clump up and because they were trying to force down that turret. But you know, that could be an interesting thing to look for in that in this next game potentially. You know, if Azubu Blaze presumably finishes this out shortly.
Well, when the enemy support is actually behind enemy lines in your base, just nuking down the remaining member of your team, then you know you're in a little bit of a bad spot. Olaf clearing out these wards, the Vuvuzelas go crazy.
And now Lust Boy, he's got the wards in the bottom lane. They're grouping up bot, and Olaf, he's actually just going to go top and push that down. So a little bit of a split push, but it opens up an opportunity where they could maybe 4v5 once they wait for Jax to get there. Ezreal and actually Diana trying to slow down this push. Flame's pretty low, but there's Captain Jack wearing down Malphite, almost taking him down, and they can continue this push.
Yeah, Insta actually had to flash away. Hasn't even gotten a chance to use his unstoppable force, it looks like. And that was the one thing they needed to really put that combo together, potentially taking Blaze down while the tower is still wailing away on them. But nope, unfortunately, they nuked down Malphite. They recognize what they had to do. Malphite flashes away, doesn't initiate, and Azubu Blaze take a tower and just run away scot-free.
And now they're moving up to the mid lane, and this kind of pushing back and forth, it puts pressure on all of the lanes. They're going to group with Olaf, and it potentially pulls Blackbean out of position. If Azubu Blaze gets 1 kill, then they can just bulldoze their way through the base. I mean, they're already ahead enough that they're going to do that anyway, but, you know, 1 kill would seal the deal. So Blackbean, this is kind of forcing the last fight for them. The inhibitor is up, and Blaze, they're just going to force their way in. If Blackbean dies here, there's no question. That is the game. They might not be able to defend this regardless.
No, they're going to have to try their best, though. They don't have True Shot Barrage available. All the other ultimates. There goes Diana. Moonfall goes in. Insta once again being locked down in that room prison. The Polymorph goes down on him. He's getting extremely low. Has to use it away. That's the wrong direction. And now Azubu Blaze look clear to take this inhibitor.
Yeah, and now you see the split from Azubu Blaze on their team. They recognize, all right, guys, let's just end this game. You know, not get clumped up, not get caught by all those AoE. So Diana comes in, can't grab Captain Jack. He's able to just retreat, and they easily force them back. They didn't get any kills, but they're wearing them down and not allowing Blackbean any opportunities.
They burned the ultimate as well, so this engage is not going to go well. Lulu ultimate knocks everybody up from Blackbean. Bane's going to get a kill on Diana. Now Ezreal dropping extremely low. Lightning is going to wind up falling to Helios. True damage coming on the Malphite. Insta just running around. No ultimate. He's not exactly very helpful in this fight. Rise wound up picking up a kill on Jax as well. And now it's all up to Blaze. Just take the inhibitor and take the game.
Yeah, a couple of them are getting pretty low, though. So you know, the damage, if this game were a little bit more even, from the team comp, it is there for Blackbean. They have the potential to win these fights, but there's 2 inhibitors down. Insta, there's no way you can defend this. Even when they're this low, he can't come in. The Lulu shield is almost more than enough to defend against any of his damage. Captain Jack getting kind of low, but he's just hanging out. They're pushing on the Nexus, and this should be game number 1.
Yeah, no one Nexus turret already down. The other at half HP is Azubu Blaze, though. They don't want to get too cocky. They're going to back off. They realize that they're very, very low, and there's a sigh from the crowd as they realize the game is going to continue for a little bit longer.
Yeah, so they're just going to make sure they get their gold, make sure they buy their items, heal up, you know, don't risk anything, and then they'll be able to push in once more. But we'll have to see. I'm kind of curious, you know, if there's going to be a big change for Blackbean coming in the second game. You know, whether or not they're pretty confident with this comp, like if they get some of these same picks again. I mean, I guess being the second pick, there's no way they can leave Diana open because, you know, Ambition will clearly grab that up.
It's very true. And the Assassin kind of combination they had, or at least the let's jump on everybody combination that they had, it works out. They have the ability to use it. We saw that in that top lane fight. Unfortunately, they were so far behind because they were just out-aggressed early on. I want to see, do they change up their style to something a little bit more passive, or do they go for the, well, this is the last game, potentially the last game we have to play. We need to really just, you know, go ridiculously hard with this and try to maybe force that early aggression. And if it works out for them, they could actually go toe-to-toe with Blaze.
Well, and a lot of it was, again, Ezreal getting caught out in that level 1. It put them behind early, and then Vayne getting those kills in the bottom lane just completely devastated them. I don't know that they can allow Captain Jack to have Vayne again, and that Vayne-Lulu combo really taking its toll. They are making their way into the bot. We'll be pushing in on Blackbean. This might be just the last go out for Blackbean and just, you know, see if they can pick something up.
Do have all their ultimates available once again. Down Zerelia getting knocked down into the polymorph. Lightning's getting extremely low. There's an unstoppable force going across Captain Jack, getting really, really low. True Shot brought touch up, but Vladimir and Ryze in the fray. Lulu ultimate's going to save Captain Jack. 4 members of Blackbean are down, and it looks like Azubu Blaze is going to walk in and take the Nexus.
Yeah, they will be able to grab this. There's the GG coming in from Blackbean. GG OP. They did get the OP champions indeed for Azubu Blaze, the champions that they love. But we'll see what Blackbean can come into game number 2. Azubu Blaze picks up game number 1.
And I guess that's something that Blackbean likes to do. Actually, when I was watching them scrim, and after every single game, whether they won or lost, they went up to a team, they shook their hands, very respectful, and said, OP.
Oh, well, that's a shame. That's a shame.
It's a little bit of a
everyone
shame.
else always gets the OP champions.
Everybody gets the
Everyone
OP
else
champions.
is just. Honestly, it's probably more that Azubu Blaze is OP, and there you see 78% to 22%.
78% of the people like me, and only 22% of the people
wait
like
a second here. Come on. But we'll see what can happen in game number 2. Damn it.
They're going to have to change it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I'll get Azubu Blaze for game number 2, right?
Well, no, I was going to say they're going to have to vote for Blackbean instead, because that's who I'm rooting for.
Oh, yeah, got it. But we'll see what they can do in game number 2. We're going to continue with this. We'll be right back, I believe, in a quick commercial break. So we'll see you shortly with game number 2.